I want to kind of have an umbrella over this conversation. And maybe we can start by more of a macro view for like exactly how fucked are we plastic wise? Like there's islands in of plastic in every major ocean. Like we've all seen the photos. I think most people want to turn a blind eye to it. Like there's people that say, oh, why do we have to, drink with these metal straws? Is our straws really going to help? And like, yeah, every little bit helps. I don't even know what this argument is. Like, if we can get rid of any plastic, I don't know why we don't do it. But maybe you can help, explain to all of us how bad this problem actually is.
Yeah, so I think it's first important to know that plastics are made from petroleum, like oil and gas. So it's made from a fossil fuel. And so when I talk about why plastics are such a problem, I'm talking about the impact that plastic production, consumption, and waste generation is having on our climate, and by extension, just the basic existence and survival of like every living thing on this planet. So I'll say that plastics has revolutionized industries and society in terms of like medical advances, technology advances. When we think about cars, for example, vehicles, ironically, plastics have been used to make vehicles lighter and less energy intensive. But the thing is that we are producing roughly 380 million tons of plastic every year, and we're throwing away nearly the same amount, which basically indicates that much of our plastic is single use, right? So that's kind of like, that's a huge number. And the plastics industry itself is, over $600 billion in size, and it's expected to continue growing every single year. So, I mean, those are huge numbers. I can't honestly fathom what it means, what it looks like. But what I do know is that from personal experience, I've literally been to rivers where you would think that the river doesn't exist. Like it's just an extension of land because there's that much garbage and you can't see the water underneath.
Where's that?
I mean, those are in places that, they don't have strong waste collection or regulation. So I've been in Southeast Asia specifically. But I live in New York. I mean, I see cans overflowing with cups and containers every single day. And every time I go out in nature, anywhere in the world, forests, beaches, I mean, I see plastic and I do pick it up, which is, I think that's an action we can all take. But we've just been really trapped, I guess, in a throwaway culture, a culture that chases the new and the convenient. And the trade-off is that we're really burying ourselves in plastic and we end up poisoning ourselves. Literally, we can talk about why that is, but we're poisoning ourselves, our planet, and we're literally driving to extinction animals and plants. So this is a huge issue, and plastic just doesn't degrade, unfortunately. It just becomes smaller to where it's like microscopic, which is where, hence microplastics. Yeah. But I think you were talking about why should we kind of care about this? I mean, plastic is such a visual blight. You can turn a blind eye if you want, but it's also a health hazard. It's not just something physical that we see. It's like dangerously embedded in our food, in most of the world's tap water, and in our bottled water as well. And this is in poor nations and rich nations. I mean, in fact, they did a survey in 2017, and the U.S. had of the samples that they took, nearly 95% of all of the U.S.'s tap water samples had microplastics. Which is like insane, right?
And these are all things I think if everyone would just look around, I think we would kind of guess at a number similar to that, and the problem is like it's so daunting, and so that's why I want to see even more impressed by someone like you that like I'm going to go tackle this gigantic whale of an issue, is because like even so I'm not vegan, but I do eat tofu, I eat plant-based meats, I try to reduce my meat consumption as much as possible. But even some of these, like what I'm buying tofu in, what I'm buying these meat replacements in, it still comes in plastic.
Yeah.
And so if like the people, I guess maybe like me, like other vegans or people that are more conscious of what they're consuming, you can't even buy this stuff in like a glass container, or you'd have to go to a grocery store. Actually, this doesn't exist, but like you'd have to say, okay, I'd like some tofu, and they have to take it out of a glass container, cut it for you, you put it in your own glass container and go home. But like none of us want to do this because it's inconvenient. And I count myself as one of these people. Like I'm like, I would love to do it. I would love it to be the only option so that I had no choice.
Yeah.
And so I think all of us, even the best intentioned of us, want to transition to having no plastic, but it's hard.